text too, while you're podcasting, and I'll send it to you.
Yes, please. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Session planga catches.
Going
viral.
Yeah, going viral.
I was driving in the car this morning, and like as a aspiring actor, you do all these vocal warm-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Warm-ups.
so I was sitting in the car on the motorway, and it was jam-packed, and I'm like brr, 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 doing all these crazy faces, and I turn to my left, and this lady's looking at me like, what the heck is this?
Yep.
Yeah. Morena, Warren.
Morena.
It's good to be doing this again.
Yes.
It was cool. We actually shot the pilot together. And it was a real cool experience to work with yourself and Will, be in this kind of podcast space. This is a lot more professional than anything I've ever done, but I wanted to release that one, but because there were topics where we actually didn't end up shooting, we didn't actually end up actually shooting that particular topic. It didn't really make sense, if that makes sense, but no, it was cool. What brings us here today is, first off, I want to get to know you a little bit more, and kind of tell your story. But next week, it is next week. It is Men's Health Week in Aotearoa, and I kind of wanted to have a space where Tāne could speak to their experiences and specifically around the topic of self-care and what that looks like for yourself. So if you could just first off introduce yourself and give us a little bit of a bio on the last, you're only 21, eh? So the last 21 years of your life.
If you want to believe that, that's up to you.
Yeah.
Oh, kia ora. Warren Katipa. Po te tangata, tauni te waka, waikato te iwi, taupiri te maunga, waikato te awa. Ka Katipa toko hapu. Ko Sani rawa ko Tamarangi wara o ku tupuna, ko Reima rawa ko Manawa o ku mātua, ko Warren Katipa tōku ingoa. Kia ora whānau, Warren Katipa. I'm kaimahi here at Te Heika, and coming to sit with Levon today, talk about men's health. Kia ora.
Beautiful. And why I came to you first about this idea was you've had this really long period of time in your career where you've been working in health sectors or in that space, and being in this for a little while, I've kind of learnt about the stresses of working in mahi like this. But I just thought it would be a great kind of space for you to talk about your experience. Could you talk a little bit about your journey and how it started in the health sector? Because I know you've worked in a few different sectors and you've got all these amazing skills. But how did that start in terms of?
Oh, hauora's always been a thing around me since I was young. More the wairua side, I suppose. It's and the healing side has been something that I was brought up with quite a bit of my life anyway. Just became natural healing through kata, through laughing, those sort of things, and telling funny stories, and putting people into good happy moods. Those are sort of things I've been really working on. Just I suppose the advanced journey sort of started just before I went to Australia. Did some work on spirituality and stuff like that, and just grew from there basically.
Yeah. And I also know, going back a little bit, you did work with youth in youth spaces for a little while. Yeah. And I know that because, and you probably know, my experience of being a youth or rangatahi, you're learning yourself and about yourself, and you're learning about how to deal with emotion. So that's one thing, and you're teaching them in spaces. How was that for you? Because I know that can be stressful.
Oh, I thought
That was
it was
early on in your career too.
no, it's a natural progression for me, I suppose. In some sense, a lot of it is preparation, and obviously you get the curveballs now and then, but the preparation time doesn't, sort of knocks out all the stress factors. Having a good plan, having a good backup plan, having a backup plan on the backup plan, really does help too in terms of working with any aspect. Doesn't matter whether it's rangatahi or kaumātua. I think the fundamentals are still the same. Yeah. So you might notice there's not a lot of things that will faze me.
Yeah.
Because of, I suppose, preparation and experience.
Yeah. I mean, I've gone into spaces where I'm completely nervous and, we'll got to give a speech or whatever, and you'll be like, oh, yeah, I'll get up and do it. And you haven't prepared anything. You're just that confident in those spaces to deliver, which I appreciate. It's always good to have someone like that. And the other thing about working with you is I've been a creator for a long period of time. Like that's something that I love, being in those spaces, whether it be acting, whether it be producing or writing or whatever it is. But like I'm a visual kind of person. Me and Will were talking about it this morning. I love coming up with concepts and ideas, but in this space over the last 2 years now, I'm trying to learn processes. And I remember you sat me down, and it was quite a profound experience. You like going through the processes that you have in place for yourself, and teaching others around like what's the end goal, what's your dream, where do you want to be at this specific time, 5 years, 10 years, all that kind of stuff. How did you kind of come about those types of processes? Because you're very process driven, and I really appreciate that, because I love process. I'm learning to love process a lot more. Yeah.
I suppose it's just because initially I'm nosy anyway, so you want to find out how things work. And I think, in my brain, it's how does it work? How do these things work, and how can you get to an end game where a lot of other people are already doing it? Hey, how do you get there faster? When we're sort of, I suppose, Māori is a bit of a race where we don't want to muck around. We just want to get to the point and get into it. So what are the tools out there that can enable us to do that? And do it faster and quicker.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of readings out there that talk about it. Start with the end in mind. I think it's Stephen Covey. Those sort of things. And so it's not just and actually the pathway plan, which is pathways to tomorrow with alternative tomorrows, I think, or pathways to alternative tomorrows with hope. I mean, it's a Canadian model, but it's a visual model that many of us whānau, I suppose, when I was working at Huakina, we started on that journey there with a visual model. Very beneficial for a ton of people that have already taken it through. I think it's just finding modalities, finding ways to make it easier for our whānau to not only understand but also to implement.
What is, that's a big word. Wasn't it modality?
Modality.
Modality. What is it? What does that mean? Sorry.
It's a way. It's just like a way. I don't know where you got that word from, but it must be.
You sounded very smart then.
It must be listening to a podcast, and the thing came out. I was like, I'll throw that in there, make me sound really cool.
Of everything. Oh.
But then I didn't realise you were going to ask me the question. What the hell is it then? So I had to make up.
Yeah, it's the way. It's just the way you do things.
It's just a particular way, bro.
Yeah.
We come up with all these big words that are out there. Have always got a simple word for us. So
yeah,
just got to find it.
Beautiful. And following on from that, being Māori. And being influenced by our culture and who we are as people, you're on the board of your marae. You work in spaces with our whānau, our community that are Māori, specifically working with Māori. What has influenced you in terms of our culture towards your well-being? I think you spoke about it briefly at the start, but what kind of led you to, in terms of karakia, even in the spaces when we do karakia at work, you're so drenched in our culture that is, that's something that I kind of always think about when it comes to you. What does that look like for you? Did I even just make sense?
There's a long answer to that and a short one. But basically, it just means that it's who we are. It's your identity. It's it's basically who you are. That every Māori should know karakia. Every Māori should have know their pepeha. Every Māori should have these kete, these tools in their background to assist in areas and turn into a tikanga Māori. And so I suppose, for me, it's just a natural progression. And you're constantly learning from others. You're always, every day, learning. So you don't, you're never in a point where, I suppose, you're not going to learn something from somebody who's on the other side who's talking Māori. You learn every day. And I suppose the thing with me at the moment, I suppose the difference that I have, I suppose, is that although I'm not completely fluent in Māori, I'm pretty close, but I'm not. However, I know the business world and education world together. So once I match those, all the business and the education and the hauora, and match it up to be fluent into the Māori, watch out. That's the
fierce.
So yeah.
No, that's beautiful. Talking to you, talking to the tani in our office, there's not a lot of us, but there's a few. It makes me feel, not that it doesn't make me feel connected when I'm talking to the wahine in the office, but there's a special bond that we can have as tani, and I look up to yourself and Matuhao and Matt, and like, why is connection so important for tani?
Oh, well, you put in this way really, really easy, right? Tani we can talk kaka together very easily with only having the male whānau in the room without being reined in by our partners. That's just...
First off, I'd just like to say I love you, Tiana, my wife.
That's a natural progression. My wife knows because I've got a cousin that I have to step away and go out into the bedroom and laugh and have a good laugh with them because it is, the stuff that we can talk about. Nobody else will know, what that is except for us. It's just because there's certain people have, you can have a business mind, you can have a Māori mind, but you just can just have a funny mind, and I think that keeps you grounded in terms of, I suppose, who you are, and to be able to have a good laugh, and just let it all out. Not only is a good sort of medicine for your tinana, but it's just in terms of an overall your heart. That you're building it not only for yourself but also the person that you're having a good laugh with. So,
no, that's cool. Yeah, I just think I think that you've just kind of encapsulated what it is. We go into the coming to work in the morning and I'll see you, and then it'll be like, oh, bro, did you watch the Warriors game? Woo, Dallin, woo. It's that type of connection that
just
it's
some
easier for me too.
Some just don't understand. It's just rugby sometimes is mainly just it's normally predominantly been a male dominated thing. Although I am encouraging a lot of our wahine out there to do those sports because they're getting a lot of recognition now. But really, what I say, as soon as you talk about rugby, that's it. Bang, we're all in. It's all in or nothing,
That conversation will carry on for about half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. I guess we're kind of coming closer to the end, but I wanted to ask you about this because I've been playing with this topic around self-care for such a long period of time over the last 6 months in terms of what it means for all of our whānau. But I guess for Tania, sometimes we don't always think about self-care for ourselves. And I guess that I want to open it up to you about, like, what does self-care look like for you? I'll just give you a couple of examples too. Like, I've seen you we're avid footy fans, so we have that bond. But also you have been to all the Armageddons as well. You're a huge comic and superhero fan, which I appreciate because that's me too. And you don't have to just be one thing. You don't have to be a jock or there's lots of spaces. But what does self-care look like for you?
Look, I suppose you go back to males in general when you talk about it. Really, us looking after self-care, we're all bloody rubbish. We're rubbish about it. I think we're all manly and we can block anything that comes towards us and do it, but in reality we can't. There are and I'm a walking thing of that. I've had a hernia, I've had have a gallbladder removed, I've had prostate cancer, I've had teeth issues and stuff like that all through my life. So but a lot of cases actually with them, I actually got them dealt with early, and they probably able to be here today because some of the stuff you just never know. If you didn't catch it early, then you could be singing up from upstairs. And I suppose self-care for me is about being aware of the problems that you've been through and the signs that you went through, and to be able to pass that on to your fellow tāne and say, look, bro, if you got issues there, and you go and see the doctors. And it's not just saying it once. It's like, come on, bro, have you been? And just constantly hunting somebody to go. Because time is in the essence with a lot of the self-care stuff. It is about time, and being there, being present, and for them, and just go, come on. It's like, say for example, with prostate cancer, usually is a hereditary thing. And so now I've got to get on my toes of my nephews because, it could happen to them. And really all it is a blood test to start off. So the journey is quite horrific when you do go through it, once you do know it. But if you get to the end and you've caught it in time, then it's, then you're still here. But I suppose self-care is, I suppose we all got to eat well. Although, thanks for putting those oranges in front of me. Just a reminder to put those oranges and remind me that hey, eat those. Although some of them are a bit colour, you bloody screw up your eyes every time you eat it. But
I did ask, like, what's Warren's favourite lolly? Because I couldn't remember, and she went mandarins. Get a mandarins. And
I don't think so. She just made that up. I suppose, banana's always been the favourite of mine, but in terms of food, most food is, as long as it's nice. Don't really have favourites or stuff like that. Although like you'll say, yes, you do. Say, no, I don't. I'll eat whatever's there. But one thing, and actually it was quite funny, my daughter was telling me I need to go to hospital because I was sort of going off chocolate. And if you know me, I was a bit of a chocolate freak, and she goes, I think you need to go to hospital because there's something seriously wrong. It's habits. I suppose a lot of it is habits, and I suppose if you do things well, I'm in that stage at the moment because I've got a bad hip that you're sort of like, I can't do anything physical, so it's a bit of a pain in the neck, and you can and that sort of thing. But I reckon once that's sorted, you never know, could be back on a rugby field and
sidestepping.
No, I'm talking about refereeing.
Refereeing, yes. Well, you were a great ref.
Let's being honest here, I'll tell you.
We had
get back on the field.
We had the world championship of netball for Te Ahi Ka the other week, and you were a great ref.
It's just because growing up with sisters that played netball all their life, so you don't. It's just natural progression to do that, and I'll tell you what, my feet were getting itchy to play. So
you saw all of us stepping a little bit, pitter patter feet, throwing the ball to the people that are on the sidelines.
I'll be looking. I'll start. I think we need to change that subject because I'll get quite animated in that one. If you watch out.
No, that's cool. I guess I wanted to finish with a couple last questions. What for you gives you hope for the future in terms of tāne self-care and health for tāne in general?
I think these trying to get our groups together, our tāne groups together, and and just remind each other that we're not bloody He-Mans. We all there's a lot of us are going to go through the same sort of problems. So, it's about awareness. It's about acting on things. Not to be afraid of it. Just bloody go and get it done. Don't even think about it. Yeah, it could be bad, but it's not as bad as if you don't hurry up and do it. Because you could still be, could be still be walking if you a lot more proactive than before. Definitely in the food, got to cut down on certain things, and but I think those collaborations of tāne groups, it's sort of coming out now a bit, and for us to actually just be quite frank, man, because we are. Tāne's just got history for being rubbish with their health. Yeah. And their wives tell us all the time they're very rubbish, so we think we are rubbish, so sometimes we have to believe it, And that's why you just keep doing and eating whatever you want because you're telling you're rubbish, I'm rubbish, or then I'll eat the rubbish.
No, but you're right, I want to get to the space, especially especially with Tāne and Tāne Wananga and the Wanangas that you're working on as well with Tāne. It's also preemptive. It's the small things. Cutting out, for me, I felt it last night. I might have had maybe 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, 10 slices of bread last night with my chicken and veggies. For some reason, I just couldn't stop. It's incremental things like trying to cut down on bread, white bread, trying to make sure that you're getting at least. Scientifically, it's proven that you're supposed to get at least 155 minutes a week of fitness or working out in spaces a week, and that's not a lot. It's just breaking it down into little spaces so that we can look after ourselves best. So it's just those incremental changes that we can hopefully make to even for me to sleep. I'm a terrible sleeper. I try to get 8, but it ends up 5, So it's just those small things that we can do, especially as I get older, now that I'm 18. And now that I'm 33, just trying to make sure that I'm looking after myself, and that will in turn help me to look after, do the best for my whānau, for the mahi that I do, all those little things.
I listen to you talking about some of the numbers and stuff on what you should have, 155 hours, 55 minutes of whatever exercise and stuff like that. Back in the early days, obviously, when I was 18, that was just a natural progression. It was just automatically you did that. There was nothing about it because we didn't have the things that they have today. And you had to make your own fun and you had to do all that sort of stuff. It's just, I suppose it's about being committed. It's about being what you want to do and what are you aiming for. When I did get it back, when I got into weights, I started looking really good and stuff like that. And up until I got a bad hip, but. And going back into those, I suppose it is discipline. It's that type of stuff. But overall, at the end of the day, it comes back down to the food.
Yeah.
If we can control our food habits, we'd be a lot better.
No, appreciate that. Last question.
Yep.
Closing for us is, for you, what does a strong man look like for you today?
Strong man. Well, I suppose you have to put into context in terms of what are you talking about being a strong man, because you can be a physical presence. I mean, both myself and yourself, and also Will over there, we're pretty tall guys. So in terms of physical presence, not many people muck around with us first because we're just bloody big people. And so in terms of physical strength, we're lucky, whereas the shorter people just. I'm not going to say much about the short people.
Shout out to my short kings, first off. Love you.
But so you're sort of, the strong part is about, I suppose, being there, and in all situations, whether it be for your partner, your wife, or your children. It is about being there, being present, and that's pretty much what I gained from my father is that I was always there. He was always there with whether it be sports and other things, but he was always there. you didn't know what I was doing, but he was always there. And having that in the background just helps to grow that. You start some a foundation, I suppose, in terms of what that might look like and being present for your child. I mean, you can go a little bit further than that if you want to, but being present is the biggest thing for me. Yeah, being present.
Beautiful. Well, that's it, man. I really appreciate your time, Warren.
Oh, good.
And thank you so much. I think I've learned a lot too. I appreciate not only the mahi that you have done in here, but also the mahi that you do for our community, and also just I always seem to be coming to your office and kind of popping in. Oh, hey, can help me with this? And you're always willing to help me, and I really appreciate that. So thank you.
No worries.
And again, you can take your present of oranges as well.
No, I'm all good. You know why I'm all good? Because I'm going back for a boil up very shortly.
Yeah, true. All right.
You told me because I have to go. I have to go over to their place.
You got to make sure.
Yeah, I've got to make sure it's okay, and oversee it.
Yeah,
and,
test the food as well.
Test the food, make sure, be consistent, and turn up, be present.
Be present.